I'm curious, how do you value your time? In the segment with Logan Paul on Impulsive, you were talking about an entrepreneur who came and was making $5 million a year from his business, and his fiance was upset that he was not spending enough time with her. And you said, what's more replaceable, the business or her? And she, I guess at the end of the day, was probably more replaceable. But how do you balance living life and enjoying things versus the pursuit of money?
Well, you have to understand there's different phases in an entrepreneur's life. There is no balance in the early days. And I think you're fooling yourself if you think there is, which is why I say you better love your idea. You better love your mission. You better love your product. You better love your customers, because you're going to have to spend an inordinate amount of energy on it, and you're not going to have a balanced life. If you're successful, that's when you buy your freedom. And you can dial in your participation to your business by hiring more people that can execute for you. I'm a very fortunate guy today. I can do whatever I want, but it doesn't mean I didn't work like hell for it. I did. But now I pursue things that really matter to me. I think there is a balance in life that you earn, and you need it because you have to have the yin and yang. If all you do is do business all day, you will not be creative. You really, really have to balance it. You'll be creative when you have the yin and yang of chaos of art. And let me give you some examples. I love to learn from other successful entrepreneurs. I did a guest stint with Michael Rubin from Fanatics, very successful entrepreneur in sports. He was a guest shark, and I was working with him, and he said a few times, how big can this be, when he was being pitched deals? And I really liked that about him because he wasn't thinking small. He said, if I'm going to burn my time, it's got to be big. It may be very competitive, but it's got to be big. And you know, great about Shark Tank, you meet these wonderful people and you have lunch with them and hang out and do everything else. Those 5 words really stuck in my mind. So I'm always learning from other entrepreneurs. That's one guy. How big can it be? Just think about how important that is to ask yourself in every opportunity you see. And the other one, Elon Musk, he hates wasting time. If you're engaged in a conversation with him and he thinks it's useless information, he'll just walk away. He doesn't care about the social impact of that. That's why he's so wildly successful.
Yeah, sure.
And so you got to think about that. I've seen him do that. And so people feel nervous meeting him maybe, and they want to make small talk. That's not what he wants. What do you know that's useful information? That's what he wants.
Yeah. When does it become unhealthy? I want to give the example back in really from 2020 to 2023. I was in a phase where all I cared about were what I'm doing every hour of the day. And I calculate the value of my time for an hour. And if someone were to say, let's go and grab lunch, let's go and grab a coffee, I would calculate how much that time is worth and then think to myself, do I want to pay this amount to go and have coffee with this person? And I got to the point where almost everything, nothing made sense for me to do other than work because my time was so valuable during those certain hours.
But also, as a secondary example, Graham and I, we were considering getting a hotel room together or separate. And Graham was running the calculation of the cost per hour that he would have to pay if we got separate rooms. And is it worth that premium? And I think about the other stuff. It's okay, well, we'd have separate bathrooms. Maybe we get a better night of sleep. Maybe this. And he's still calculating this. And this was probably 4 or 5 months ago. And he has plenty of money now. So at what level do you think it becomes counterproductive?
It never becomes counterproductive. I'd say you've reached nirvana.
All right.
That was actually how you should operate. There's no question, because when you have enough capital and you can start to say to yourself, well, I'm going to fly first class now because I've earned it for myself. But you earned it for yourself. You didn't borrow money to fly first class. In the beginning, we used points for everybody. We were the back of the bus everywhere. Now, if I'm going to fly to Europe tonight, I'm going to fly first class because I earned it. I earned it. But I can afford to do that. But I am the same as you. I break my day into 30-minute segments. And I'm always looking with the people that schedule me, what's this? What's this thing in the schedule? What is that? Why am I doing that? What am I going to get from that that's either of interest to me that I'll learn something or is going to help one of our businesses, of which there are now 54? Why am I doing that? And if it's, they called up, they said they knew you. And I'll say, well, I don't know why I would use my most valuable asset as my time. That's what you said earlier. You're right. It is your most valuable asset. Now, when you use it for your family, that's very valuable. But when you waste it, that is a crime because you'll never get it back.
But when is it counterproductive? Because there are some things where I will deliberate for maybe 30 minutes price matching to save $50. And then I go through this other phase where my time is worth more than $50 and the time spent deliberating, I may as well just pay more. but then I feel internally that
He doesn't like getting ripped off.
I don't like,
is what
yeah,
it
I like
is.
getting a good deal. And so when I think I'm overspending, I feel like I'm getting ripped off in a sense. And I looked at myself 10 years ago, and I'm thinking 10 years ago me would look at this and not want to get ripped off.
I think that's a very good instinct. I don't think you should ever give up on that. People ask me all the time, you just bought that watch for $250,000. Why would you spend $250,000 on that watch? And I argue, and I have the empirical data to show it, that that is probably a better investment than putting it in the S&P 500, because that piece is a piece unique, and in 10 years will be worth materially more. And I'm making that calculated risk as an alternative asset. I actually have on my balance sheet in my portfolio mark-to-market value on every single watch, because I don't want to get ripped off. I mark-to-market every 24 hours the value of every piece. And I know that that's something I've learned. I can look at things that I study, like watches, and know when it's a bad purchase, and I won't do it. So it's sort of keeping that in your DNA is a good thing. I don't know why it's a bad thing.
Well,
spending a lot doesn't mean that, it's a bad investment.
I think it's the value of your time versus the amount that you spend. Like even last night, the first thing I do when I look at a restaurant menu is the price, and then what it is second. And I'd rather get the item that's $18 and a better deal than the other one that I kind of want a little more if it's $25. But I feel like that's a bit overpriced for the fajita. Like I'd rather the mahi burger.
I'm
for
100% the same way.
All right.
Because I mean, you should spend money on good food for your body, because that actually makes you much more productive. I don't eat crap food anymore. None. So you'll see as you get older, you realize your energy levels are so much different. Either you treat food as medicine, or food, or one day you'll be taking medicine because you ate shit food.
Sure.
Like that's really what happened. It's bad. I mean, you should think about what you're putting in your body.
Why do you like making money so much?
I don't need more money. I just like, the only measure of business and success against competition is profitability. I'll run a business for 3 or 4 years. My wine business made no money for 4 years until we turned it profitable. And now it's wildly successful because we now ship direct to consumer in 48 states. I think I ship 2.7 million bottles a year. I figured that business out, and I don't know many people that ship that many bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm competing, and I'm winning, and I'm making money, and I'm building a great team in wine, and I enjoy wine. If you're not making money, what are you doing? It's a hobby. It's okay if you want to call it a hobby, but if you're actually burning hours, we've been talking about time, burning hours and making no money, why would you do that? Unless it's a hobby. Otherwise, you're just a loser.
Life insurance is one of those things that makes sense for a lot of people out there, but most people just put it off because it feels complicated, expensive, or time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be, thanks to our sponsor, Fabric.
Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance that you can get done today. It's made for busy parents like you. It's all online. It's on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required.
If you have kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in a low rate is now. And even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer you enough protection for your family, and it usually does not follow you if you leave your job. Fabric offers flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, including options like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day.
Fabric is partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families for over 50 years. There's no risk, and they even have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can cancel at any time. Fabric also has free digital wills, tools to invest in your kid's future, and more, all right from your phone.
Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/ICHclips.
Again, that's meetfabric.com/ICHclips. MEET fabric.com/ICHclips. The link is also down below in the description. Enjoy.